What's going on, YouTube? So it's just past 2:30 in the morning, and I decided to go ahead and do this video instead of waiting until the morning because tomorrow I'm going to be very busy running errands. But this video is actually a promotional video for one that is about 40 minutes long that is available right now as we speak on Black Avenger TV. Now, I know that I did not give you guys much forewarning concerning this video because it's something that it was a project that I kind of just started thinking about a couple of weeks ago, and really the push to do this project just came completely from out of the blue just within the last 48 hours while I was working on some other things. The video that's available on Black Avenger TV, unfortunately, because there are explicit images on there, I cannot provide a direct link to that video from here. However, if you go in the link in the description box as well as the link in the pinned post, there should be a pinned post. If there's not, it's in the description box. You will see the direct link to my Black Avenger TV channel. Okay, it should be at the very top. From there, you can click on that link and you can access that video, which again is about 40 minutes long. It should be the first video that you can see available along that video timeline. Now, this video over on Black Avenger TV is going to be concerning another myth that we're going to debunk that many of you have been hearing, specifically these black swirlers, talk about and try to lay claim to over the course of the last couple of years. Now, we know over the years with these low self-esteem, low insecurity, mentally ill black women, there have been many myths that have been easily debunked. Strong, independent being probably the more notable ones. And then most educated, that lie came out about 4 or 5 years ago. That was debunked actually by a white professor, and then further debunked by brothers here, myself included. Well, I came late into the game, but nonetheless, they were debunked. Black women saying that they were the most loyal women on earth. That's a laugh. But there have been many sad, sorry attempts by these black feethoughts to try and persuade other people that their delusions of being some high class, highfalutin, classy, sophisticated woman there's actually some type of truth in these myths that they create. It's kind of like, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster. Everybody's heard about it, but nobody's seen it. Or the UFO. Everybody's heard stories of other people who claim that they've seen UFOs. And yet, nobody's actually seen one. They may think they've seen one go by, but they couldn't prove it because they could never get close enough to say what it was actually. And the people who claim that they were abducted by aliens have no proof. This is the mirage, the delusion, you see, that you deal with when you deal with a lot of these Black American females, especially the ones who call themselves swirlers and pro-Black. Now, one of the actual delusion that we're going to be dealing with in this video series, and specifically the video over on Black Avenger TV, which again you can access by clicking the what should be the top link in the description box and also in the pinned post to access my Black Avenger TV channel. And the video should be right there as the first one uploaded on the timeline. What we're going to be addressing is this latest issue of Black women claiming that they are the most desired women on earth. Now, of course, on the surface, this, would easily be looked upon with skepticism and, kind of side-eye looks because, there's just so many ways, just right off the, just taken right off the top of the cake. Just take the whipped cream right off the top of the cake to highly suspect that this is bullshit. But that's when I started to think, is there an actual way to prove that this is bullshit? Because the fact that what a lot of them are, the claims that they're making is, that white men and men of other races think about them and have fantasies about them, even if they're not fucking them, more than anybody else, any other race, group of female, including the white female. And it would seem that there's no way to prove that, true or not true, except you see there is. Because, again, when you look at it from the surface, you can say, well, I don't know what's on a white man's mind, some random white dude that lives in Kansas, just some everyday average run-of-the-mill dude. I don't know what he does when he goes behind closed doors, or who he's screwing, whether it's his wife or not, or what type of porno he watches. And that's going to be ironic when you see the video that I'm talking about. You see, in the age of information, there's not really too many lies that can be told about history or present day that cannot be debunked. Because we live in a time where information is so easily accessible. It's not even funny. You don't have to work hard to click on something and access something anymore. Whereas decades ago, you would have to go to the library. You would have to access all kinds of books and files and look through all different types of newspapers. Whereas Google has made it as easy as a simple step of clicking a mouse on a single link and opening up a website that could open up just a mountain load of potential reference points for anything that you're researching. Even if it's something as explicit as what is in the deepest part of a man's mind when it comes to his sexual fantasy. And not just the individual man, but men in mass, men in general, and particularly since we're talking about non-black men, white men. What I'm going to show beyond a reasonable doubt is what we really have always known about the white man and this myth that he is checking for and lining up in droves for these black women. Now listen, I will be the first one to admit that I have seen a rise in this, I'm talking about not online, I'm talking about out and about. I've seen a high rise of both black women and white men and white women with black men just in my area and in a lot of places where I go that I didn't see that 5-10 years ago. But this myth that there is a white man ready to marry or be in a relationship with every black woman is just that, a myth. And this is going to get deep because a lot of us brothers, myself included, for the longest time were under the impression that just because you have fine, highly attractive black women, I'm not talking about them old hag hoes that Crystalline Carrison hangs with like Simone 50 Tricks, or them ugly slave looking women that she took to that charity event with their thirsty ass. Look like they're in their 40s or 50s wearing church dresses that they go to church service with. I'm talking about young girls that are, they got a nice body shape. They're cute in the face. Kind of like this model, dark skin, natural hair, nice body, long legs. The type of black female that most men would consider attractive if they are attracted to black women. We know that women like this, a lot of them are literally throwing themselves at non-white men. So we figure because they're throwing themselves at non-black men, and black pussy is really some of the easiest to get in the world if you're the type of dude that those type of easy pussy females are checking for, no matter how fine she is, no matter how educated she is. Many of us brothers were under the assumption that while we know a lot of non-black men are not dating them or marrying them, there probably are a lot of non-black men that are screwing them, having sex with them behind closed doors. Maybe even as many as we're having sex with. But once I did this research, I quickly realized that that is not even the case. Nobody is fucking with black women, including the highly attractive black women, on the scale that black men are fucking with them or fucking them. No man of any race desires black women the way black men do. I'm not talking about me, I'm just saying as a collective, okay? No man desires the black woman as much as her own man. This is why I've heard brothers talk about how they still are having sex with black women that have white boyfriends or that call themselves swirlers, looking for the pink package but not finding it. This is why you still see even the likes of crystalline kerosene around black and biracial men like Angel Ramirez, or those black men, that black guy that she was touching the beard of at that VidCon event in 2016. This is why that hideous creature, Crystal Swirls, had a black man in her apartment. Because they know that while they bullshit to the world about divesting from Blackistan, this, that, and the other, the main men that are going to fuck with them, whether they like it or not, and they don't, trust me, are their own tribe of men. Because this is simply nature. As Muhammad Ali once put it, birds of a feather will flock together. You got red birds with red birds, blue birds with blue birds. This delusion that black women are going to have some type of mass exodus away from black men in the black community. And keep in mind, this is not the person you're listening to, which is me right now, is not a person who is of the opinion that black women should be loyal to black men, because I realize they are not loyal to anybody but themselves, and they haven't been since the slave plantation. I've walked down that rabbit hole. It took me about 5 years, and when I came out from under it, I realized the only motherfucker that I can expect to be loyal to me, besides my immediate family members, is me. So I don't give a fuck about these hoes one way or the other. But the reality is, nature suggests, natural selection suggests that this delusion that there are so many men of so many other race groups out there that are going to pick black women first for sex. I even heard some goofy ass Negro in my comment section say this stupid shit. It was some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Say that black women are the prize because non-black men want to fuck them before they want to fuck anybody, including their own white women. Oh, really? Now, I have admitted, and I have no problem as a Marlboro man that doesn't fuck with these hoes anymore. I have admitted, and I will continue to admit, that I see black women as holding their own in the attraction level department with any female. It's not that they are not being desired and overall fucked with by non-black men because they're ugly. As a matter of fact, I get tired of hearing these dumbass, goofy ass niggas talking about black women are, ugly, or black women are fat, this, that, and the third. That's bullshit. Black women are no fatter. They have no more amount of fat people than black men and they fat, lazy asses. Okay? That is not the reason why non-black men are not messing with them on the scale where all of them can just up and leave black America. Y'all remember that black girl I made a video about a couple of months ago that was co-signing and sneak dissing with some other black hood thought, talking about she had a Mexican boyfriend and all of that, and she was killed in Miami like a year after she made that post that she shared of that other hood thought talking about black women divest now. But when you looked at that chick that was killed in Miami, she was still with a hood nigga, even though she was co-signing with another female talking about black women divest now. You have a lot of cute black girls like this one. Some of them with natural hair. They have nice figures. Black women, I'm talking about dark-skinned black women, but you have a lot of light-skinned ones too, can be very attractive in their prime. Okay? Now, I'll give any woman of any race their props. A pretty woman is a pretty woman. My dick is detached enough from my brain where I can admit a woman is pretty, gorgeous, and still say she's an ain't shit hoe that I'm not trying to fuck with. Okay? I can also acknowledge that her good looks do not equate to relationship material. They don't even equate to what another man might want to stick his penis in at that particular time. Or if he does, that there aren't women of other tribes and race groups that are going to come as his top tier before her. Not because she's any less attractive than those other women, but simply because he desires those other women more than he desires her. And at the end of the day, there will always be men of other races, just like there will be women of other races that will, date out and, explore their options, taste all the colors of the rainbow and all of that bullshit. But the overriding majority of people, even if they race mix from time to time, will wind up with or do a majority of the deed with people of their own type. Because no matter how much these libtards try to push diversity on you, this is reality. These hoes can come and troll in black male spaces all they want about how white men, they have such a broad selection of white men. What I even realized about a week ago is that a lot of these black females that I see even out and about with white men, a lot of them are switching up between black men and white men. Just because you see a stranger on the street with a person of another race does not mean they're not still fucking with their own kind, or that they won't go back to fucking with their own kind. That doesn't mean that's who they're going to end up with for the rest of their life. Now, me personally, I don't care. But this is for y'all's information. Because this is some deep shit. When you see the evidence that I'm going to show you, you will understand why this myth that's been going on is just a giant load of crap if you didn't already know. You're also going to realize the fact that non-black men don't desire black women on anywhere near, not even sexually, on anywhere near the scale that we may have thought, or even that history suggests. Yes, there was a lot of sex going on between white men and black women back then, but not more than there was between white men and white women. It's just that black women have been so easily accessible since the slave plantation. It's pretty much open season for everybody. But that does not mean even the slave pussy that he was screwing, that he desired it more than white women. How many more white women, or how much more white pussy did he get? Even these niggas messing around with these white women, how much more black pussy did they get before and even after they started dealing with white women? I've known brothers that have jumped ship and went across the color line just like black women dealing with white hoes. I told you, a minister at a church, he told me he divorced 2 white women. Just like black women, they came running they black stepping fetching ass back across the color line. At the end of the day, the majority of birds of a feather are going to flock together. Now, this is not to dissuade or persuade anybody to do anything that they don't want to do, or they want to do. This is simply stating the facts. to the like-minded brothers and intellectuals that can take evidence and proof for what it is and not try to distort it or flip the script to make it seem like something that it is not. Just like in the Crystalline Karazin and Paris Milan and Cynthia G case, this is your proof that everything that is said is not always as it seems. So go to the description box or the pinned post. Click what should be the top link. Either way, it says black. You should be able to see it. Blue link says Black Avenger TV. That will take you to my main channel. From my main channel, you should be able to see the video. Please like and share that video on Black Avenger TV, because I want Crystalline Karazin and some of these other cunt traps to explain that. If you're the most desired woman, even sexually, if you want to just stoop that low where you say, well, at least most men want to fuck us more than anybody else. Non-black men want to fuck us more than anybody else. If that is the case, please explain this. Because there's no other way that I see. There's no way to debunk this. There's no way to argue this. Unless you somehow believe that what I'm using as evidence and what I'm using as proof isn't valid. And then I would have a skyscraper in downtown Chicago to sell you. Talk to you later, guys.